everyone, it is that time of the month again where I'm going to take you along for one of my working weeks. It is Monday today, and normally I try and do a little bit of rest work on Monday or Tuesday, usually sitting on the computer and doing stuff, but I have so much to do at the moment. So I've been in the shed this morning. We've been making shower fizzes and a couple of things for the advent calendars. So I've just done that. I have cleaned up in here as well. It is almost lunchtime, so I'm going to go make myself some lunch, and then we're going to come back into the shed, into this messy section, and get all of this behind me tidied up so I can start taking photos for Halloween. So down in these bags here, I have got some candles, melts, we've got some body wash, body scrubs, all sorts of things. I also had a little bit of fun this year and decided to have a go at making some of these skull candles. We've got a few different smells in them, and they really are just for a little bit of fun. Now obviously the sort of backdrop setup I've got here right now is not very Halloweenish, so after I've had some lunch I'm going to go and find out all my Halloween props. We're going to get all this changed over, and we're going to take some photos of all the stuff that we have. Now I did announce today on my social media that Halloween will be released on the 30th of September, so I can't put these photos off any longer. They've actually been sitting in here for a little while waiting for me to photograph them, but there's always that one thing that we all have in business that we hate doing, and for me it is the photography and editing of the photos. A couple of years ago I decided that I was going to make a real effort with doing the photos. I actually did a photography course to learn a lot more about my camera. I've taught myself a lot about editing the photos and things like that, and I like to think that I do a good job of them, but they do take a lot of time and effort, and generally it will take me a few hours to actually take the photos of everything, and then it will take me just as long to go through and edit them all as well before getting them on the website. So it's the one job I absolutely hate doing, but I also know how important it is to have that really good photography, so I keep persevering with it. I'm going to trip over my tripod. I keep persevering with it because I know that's what makes the website look good and the social media and all that sort of stuff. So as I said, it's almost lunchtime, so I'm going to go make myself some lunch. I'll go and find the Halloween props out, and then we'll be back in here to do some photos, and of course Miss Lucy's going to help. Okay, so 3 hours later I have finished doing all of the photography of the stuff that I remembered to bring home. Now it does take me so long because I don't just take one photo of a product, I do take several different angles of it. You know, sometimes I'll take it from one angle, not notice until afterwards I've got like a light spot on there, or that one doesn't have the light spot, so I'd probably use that one. And I also like the angle of that one, and sometimes I don't see it until I get in the house. There's always at least 4 or 5 photos of each of my products, just to make sure that I've got at least one good one, and then sometimes I might end up with 2 or 3, but they all need to be edited, all need to be looked at, so it does take me a long time, but it's well worth the effort. When I first got my website, I kind of had this thing that I wanted my photos to be that real classic, here's the product on a white background, and just to make it, this is what you are going to get. And then one day I ended up taking some of these sort of lifestyle shots for an event. I don't know if it was Mother's Day or something like that, and I noticed that people responded a lot more to these lifestyle shots, and I also needed the more lifestyle shots for the social media. I then decided to just change a few more of the photos on my website to lifestyle ones and get rid of the product on a white background, and I noticed a huge difference in the amount of sales that were coming through with having these sort of lifestyle shots on the social media and the website instead. So I have, over a period of time, gone through and upgraded all of my photos onto this style of photography, just because that has been what has really worked for me. So it does take a while, but it definitely is worth it. I do need to get this little lot cleaned up, but I can't put too much of it away because I did forget to bring home my mini soaps, so I'll have to bring them home next week to take photographs of those. But I do have a couple of other things in my bag where the photographs on my website, they're actually still the old product on a white background photograph, and I need to get them changed over to a lifestyle shot. So I want to try and get this so I can get a couple of lifestyle shots of my outdoor body spray. I've also brought home some wick dippers as well, which have been in the shop for a little while. I want to get them onto the website, so I want to get photos of them. And then I'm going to head inside and do the next wonderful part of the photography, and that is edit all of these photos. So I'm going to do that for the afternoon, and then hopefully Tuesday I can just have the day to myself to do whatever I want. I actually do need to do a bit of cleaning up because my craft office space is a bit messy, so I want to clean that up and spend a bit of time with Lucy, and then we'll be in the shop on Wednesday for a really busy week. See you, little one. Okay, we are down the shop. I've almost got to go and get that door open. I'm just going to get myself all unpacked and ready to go. Lucy and I got up this morning and we went for our walk through the bushland out the back of the house. Absolutely beautiful, and we saw so many of the bush kangaroos out there. It was such a lovely walk today. I got back, I had some breakfast, read my book while sitting on the deck listening to all the birds singing, and now we're down here and we're going to have a busy week this week. I've already got a few things written up on my board. I need to top up my Aquafresh room and linen spray. I've got a new face wash that I'm hoping to actually make up at some point this week to go out on the shelf. I also have a custom order lip balm order that I need to do. A client or a customer, she orders them for her client, so we've got 100 of those to make for her with her own custom labels. I have a few extra things that I need to do which are not written up on the board because they are relating to the Christmas advent calendar, and I don't want to give away too much about what's going in them. So we'll get on to doing that as well today. Well, not today, this week. I'll pick a couple of the tasks from off that board that need doing. The first thing I will end up doing is packing the orders that came in for Soy and Shea and Pimp My Soap. And then the lip balms, they are the next most important thing that I actually get done. So they'll be the two, well, that's one big task. Orders is something that gets done every day. Well, should get done every day. So I'll do the lip balms, and I think I'm going to make some extra soaps today. We're coming up to Christmas, which means We have our little gingers that are getting ready. I only have 5 of these molds, so I have to make lots of batches to make sure I have enough. But that is our little ginger. I made this one on Sunday before leaving the shop, so these are ready to unmold, and I'll make another fresh batch of these up today. I generally make about 4 to 5 batches of my gingers to make sure that I have enough to last me for Christmas. I made 4 batches last year and they sold out really quick, so I'm thinking this year we'll make 5 batches of them. And then I also have some little tiny mini ones. Let's grab one of them out. We've got some little tiny mini ones because I also need to make my Christmas soaps this week. Yes, I've left it really late. I run into the same problem every year that I can never decide what to do for my Christmas soaps, but I now have them all planned and know what I'm going to do, so we're going to make them this week. Plus the other thing is my soap cure rack is absolutely jam-packed and I've got no room to put any new soaps at the moment, but half of them are coming off the rack this week, so I will be able to make my Christmas soaps, and one of them is going to be gingerbread themed. These have come up so super cute. Anyway, I need to go and get my door open because I'm about 5 minutes late. Oops. And then we'll get on to making, well, first thing, we'll get on to packing these orders. All right, let me go do it. Okay, so as you can see, we are making some more Halloween soaps. I know that I'm running really behind considering I'm actually releasing my Halloween in 10 days. These soaps will just sit on the counter until about 2 weeks before Halloween, and we'll have just a little bit of a restock on the kids ones because they always sell really quickly. Now on the last vlog I showed you these molds that I had got in, which are some little pumpkin molds, and I didn't actually have time then to make them up, but I did say that I would make a reel on it. Now I never actually ended up doing a reel because when I started making these soaps I discovered there was a little bit of a problem with them, which you'll get to see tomorrow when we go to unmold them. So I didn't want to make a reel when they were a little bit difficult to unmold, but I am going to do them now. So what I did is I mixed up a main batch of my colour, and in that last vlog I showed how I calculated how much soap I would need for the stems, and I literally needed about 10 mil, which I said was too hard to make up soap for like 10 mil. So I ended up making up a big batch, and I've poured off, I ended up in about 16 grams. I worked out that I needed 16 grams of soap to fill up these little cavity stems for my pumpkin. So I'm just using a little pipette to fill in the little cavities. Hopefully we've got enough, because every other time I've poured off 16 grams I have had enough. This is the third batch of these that I am doing. I did 2, and I've just decided that with the kids soaps they usually sell really well, and I don't feel I have got enough kids soaps sitting there, so I just decided to do one more batch of each of them. So we did some little mini bat skulls, pumpkins, that sort of thing, and I thought we'll just make one more batch of these pumpkins, so I end up with 30 of these, and there's not too many because they are a bit of a pain in the butt to make. Now that I've got my little stems all filled up, so you can see I've got just enough to fill up the stems, and what I'm now going to do is mix the rest of this soap up with some orange and some fragrance, and then we're going to pour them into these molds. Okay, so you can see that all the pumpkins are now done. We have got a batch of gingers over there, and then if we cross over to this side, look at the mess we've got. We've got another batch of Halloween soaps. I've got about 40 minutes until the shop closes, so I'm going to try and clean up a little bit of that mess and get myself a little bit organised, so when we come in tomorrow I'll be able to get onto unmoulding all of these soaps and then hopefully making the face wash tomorrow. And I got notification that I've had a couple of deliveries received today, so I'll be bringing those into the shop tomorrow as well. Good morning everyone. I have just opened up the shop and it is busy out there. There's lots of people around. It's a beautiful day as well. It's only about 22 degrees at the moment, which I think is about 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, just as a quick calculation in my head there. But it's meant to be getting up to about 30 degrees. Now it is school holidays at the moment, which are pretty notorious for being really quiet in the area, but I think with this beautiful weather people have come out to the kids playground and stuff, and hopefully they'll all kind of filter around over here. So hopefully it's going to be a really good day, but if not, it's actually been a really good evening and day today anyway. So what have we got planned? First thing I will have to do is sort out my lip balms. So these are the ones we made yesterday. I'll be able to take these green ones out and cap them and everything. I just need to sort these ones out. I've got two that didn't quite fill up. I was saying in the video, like I had up on the comments, that these tubes that I've got here are actually the original tubes that I used to buy, and they are 4 grams. I now actually have 5 gram tubes. I've had these lip balm filling trays for about 7 years now, and when I first bought them, I got them from the same supplier that I was getting my tubes from, and they used to fit in perfectly so you could flood the trays. And then at some point they must have actually changed their supplier of the lip balms, and all of a sudden the tubes didn't fit the trays properly. Now I actually can't pick these up from off the tray here, but when they go in, I don't know if there's any here that are going to be able to be seen, but there's about a 5mm gap between the top of the tube and the top of the flood tray. So you know, you end up with an awful lot of waste balm that you've got to remelt down and pour back in. Now I know some people are probably thinking, well, you need to push the tubes into these trays, but you actually can't without damaging the tube. I think whenever they've changed it over, the little ridge that you get on a tube, I'll see if I've got a tube here. When you have a tube like this, whether it's going to show or not, there's this kind of little ridge around the sort of bottom here, and when you put your cap on, the cap sticks to that ridge, and that's what makes it, you know, stay on, not fall off. If you push these tubes too far into the holder, you squish that little tube. And how did I work that out? Because I forced 50 of them into my filling tray, and then 50 of my lip balms couldn't have the caps on them. So that's how I found out that they did change my tubes on here. So I only have, I think, 100 left of these this size tube, so I'll have enough to do one more custom order, and then everyone will be going on to my new bigger tubes, and I'll be able to use my proper flood filling trays. So we will get these sorted out today. Talking of lip balms, one of the deliveries I got last night, I got some new flavor oils come in because I am working on a new range of lip balms. I get asked 2 quite common questions with my lip balms. One, do I do a vegan one? And secondly, do I do natural flavoring? Now in my current range of lip balm flavors, I've got 30 of them, and no, there are no natural flavorings in them. Here in Australia, we are not allowed or should not be using essential oils in our lip balms unless it's been approved by the TGA, and I cannot afford to get that approved by the TGA, so I use flavor oils in mine. But what I want to do is bring out a vegan range of lip balms and also address that natural flavoring thing by only offering natural flavors in the vegan lip balms. In my mind, that kind of just makes sense. So I've been testing some of the Australian natural flavors that are out, and I'm going to use a couple of them. And then I've also got in a couple of extra ones, which will give me a few different unique flavors as well. So I will be working on those next month, but my delivery of those flavor oils arrived yesterday. I actually do have some of their flavor oils already in my Christmas range. All my Christmas flavors are actual natural flavors, so I know that they are a really good flavor oil, so looking forward to bringing that out next month. So that came in, and then I also got, not that box, I also got this box delivered, which has got my little mini bottles, which will be going into one of the advent calendar boxes. I'm not going to tell you what's going in it, because for those that actually purchase, you'll want to have a little surprise at some point. But really happy with these. I was struggling with a 12th item to put in the boxes, and a couple of the boxes do have 2 products in, and I thought, well, I could always split one of those out if I can't find something. And then one day I spotted these on Amazon and absolutely loved them. I'll leave links down in the description box so anyone who is interested in these. They're a 30ml bottle, so they're just the right size to do a little sample for an advent calendar, and they fit into my boxes perfectly, so I was so happy with that. I will give you a sneak peek of the advent calendars. This is one of the things I said in my last August vlog that was coming in the first 2 weeks of September, and was really excited about it, but wouldn't be filming it because the vlog doesn't happen until the 3rd week. So I think they actually arrived in the 2nd week of September. I don't know, sometime at the beginning. I got my advent calendar boxes come in. Now with my advent calendar, I did do one last year, one of the traditional ones with the doors that you open up. Some of the feedback I did get about those was that as you started to open the doors, because of the weight of the calendar, eventually the boxes started to actually collapse in on themselves, and some people, they'd open the door and there'd be a couple of products because the inner pieces had all moved. So I had to get really clever with what I was doing, and I decided that a traditional door calendar was out, and instead I was going to do lots of individual boxes, which would also combat that sort of thing of the calendars collapsing from the weight. And then my mum actually came up with a very good idea of doing a little Santa bag, so people could put all the boxes into the bag and then pull out whichever box they need. So I got on to doing that. And the one thing I really wanted with my advent calendar was to have an Australian theme, because everything we get for Christmas down here is very northern hemisphere. Snow, holly berries, mistletoe, warm fires. It's 35 degrees here. If on a good day, it could be even hotter for Christmas. So you don't really want to see pictures of a fire. So I decided that I was going to go ahead with an Aussie theme, and I got onto Canva and I started designing 12 individual boxes. Now I'm not going to show them all to you because I do want to leave some mystery for people who are going to order them. I will do a big reveal at the end of December once everyone's had a chance to open up their boxes, but I will show you number 1. So this is box number 1, and as you can see, it's very Australian, and I have gone through and I have designed every little element. So we've got the same picture on the front and the back, and then the sides are the same. On the top I have little Aussie sayings. So this one has got "Have a Fair Dinkum Christmas," and they've all got different sayings that kind of fit in with whatever the theme is on the front of the box. And I have gone through and I have actually created each and every one of these scenes, and some of these scenes, the more you look at it, the more you actually get to see. I've tucked things in trees and just all sorts. If you order one of the advent calendars when they come out in October, you'll get to have a look at all the boxes and see what I've done. Otherwise, as I said, I will be revealing them at the end of December. So with this box, just to give you an idea of how much has gone into this, and this is one of the simplest boxes out of everything I've done. I started off, I found the scene that had the blue background and the main tree, and that was all that was on the base scene. I then found this little fence line, and then I found some little kangaroo paw to put across the front, and kangaroo paw is a native flower that a lot of people do put across their fence lines on properties here. I then went and found a very summery Santa, and I decided to get some koalas to pop into the tree. I then found the little stocking. I found a hat to put on this koala and some little baubles to decorate his tree with. And all the boxes, I've just gone through and stuck in so many different elements. Now, as I said, this is a fairly simple box that I've done, but as you go through the boxes, each one has got more and more elements, and they're all different scenes. So we've got Santa at the beach, we've got Santa at the reef, we've got the Dane tree, we've got Uluru, and a couple of other outback scenes as well. We've got some real classics. Of course, we had to do the red rusty Holden ute is in one of the scenes as well. what's Christmas without backyard cricket and all that sort of stuff. So I have got 12 very individual little designs to go on the boxes, and everyone will be getting their products. So you can see my little box, it just fits, or my little bottle, it fits in just at a little angle like that, and then there's going to be a little Santa sack to go with them as well. So really looking forward to bringing these out, and I will be finishing off making the products this week because I now have all the bits that I actually need. So very, very excited. The other thing that did arrive early this month were my new shampoo boxes, and I also released a brand new shampoo. So I've had these shampoos in my range for about 6 years now, 6-7 years, and I've always had the same 4. So let me see if I can grab these other 4 here. There we go. So I've always had these 4 in the range, and I decided to actually add in a 5th one. So I've actually now got 2 essential oil ones and 3 fragrance oils, and this one is now my absolute favorite. But I did go ahead and design all brand new packaging for them, and then I redid my conditioner bars as well. They're a square. A lot of people wanted to see them in a different shape. They were round like my shampoo, and people wanted to see them different, so I've actually made them into little squares. This was how I was originally packaging my shampoo and conditioner. This is the conditioner box, but the shampoo was exactly the same. It just said shampoo across the front, and they were like little boxes like this. I used to get the boxes on either eBay, AliExpress, wherever they came from, and the problem was every time I ordered them, there would either be a different die cut so that my label didn't always fit, or it'd be too big, too small, always different. And sometimes the quality wasn't the same as the previous ones, so I was getting really fed up of ordering these boxes, and then I would actually have to print this big long label to wrap around the box as well. And to be honest, the actual price of just the white box without the label is the same cost as having this completely printed up for the quantity that I ordered. So it cost me less to actually do this than to buy these boxes and print these stickers. So I went ahead and did the change. This is what the old conditioner bars look like, and now they are a bit smaller because that's what my customers wanted, but they are also extra hydrating or conditioning as well. So really excited to get all that in, really excited about all these changes that are coming, and very, very soon, hopefully this week I'll be able to do it, I will be uploading my shampoo and conditioner bars onto fair.com, and they will be available for wholesale as well. So really looking forward to all of that. Anyway, I think I have talked for long enough right now. I am going to get on to, I actually need to move these out of the way. They're not ready to unmold yet. I'll move these out of the way so we're nice and clear. I'll get on to sorting out these lip balms, and then I'm going to make my new face wash, and then I'll get on to making some more of the advent calendar stuff. So let's get on with this day, and hopefully it's going to be a lovely busy day. I've got to go get this lot put away as well. I'm not quite sure what happened today, but the last time I looked at my watch, it was about 1:45, and I got on to doing a few extra things. I have filled up those little bottles for the advent calendar. I've had a bit of a clean down. I actually washed all of my little gingerbread molds because I was having trouble unmolding them, and I think it was because I poured them into dirty molds. Usually I can get 2 pours, and I tried to do a third. Obviously can't do 3 pours between cleaning the molds, so I have washed all of those. They're now sitting on my bench drying, so we can make some more gingers tomorrow. I can't get any more onto that Keurig. I do have 3 soaps which should be coming off on the weekend, so I'm going to start preparing them tomorrow to give me room to put my little ginger soaps up there. And I didn't even get time today to I was going to start the Christmas soaps, and I didn't get a chance to start that, but I did get an awful lot done. But the next thing you know, I looked at my watch and it was 4:45, and it was like, well, where is the last 2 hours just gone? But I did actually achieve an awful lot in those 2 hours, and there wasn't any camera footage. Tomorrow we're going to unmold the little pumpkins. I do want to just leave them sit for one more day. They are actually ready to unmold, but they do feel just a little bit tacky. There goes the dishwasher, and I think that is because it's a little bit humid today, so I just want to leave them just for one more day to see. I say that while I'm pulling it, and I think I've just worked out how to unmold them. Oh my goodness. Oh, let's see if that's going to work. now we're going to unmold one of these now. When I was unmolding them, nah, it didn't work. You see the little stem disappeared? I thought the little stem was going to come out. I am going to leave them for one more day. Now I've just lost my stem in my bag. Let me retrieve that out of all the pumpkin molds. There he is, right down the bottom. What's happened when I've been unmolding these is the little stem comes off, but because the soap is actually still wet or moist, it is easy enough to actually treat it like soap dough and attach it back on there. And if I didn't show you, you would never actually know. But that's what our little pumpkins are going to look like. I am going to leave them just for one more night because they are just a little bit sticky, and I think it is because of the humidity. So we will unmold the rest of those tomorrow. It looked like, as I pulled the mold, it looked like it was actually loosening from off the stem and that it was going to pop out. But no, that didn't happen. So yeah, we'll do the rest of those tomorrow, but they are so super cute. I'm going to head off home. I'm going to edit a little bit more of this video. I'm trying to do a little bit each day, just so I'm not sitting there on a Monday or Tuesday and editing a massive long video. So I try and do a little bit every night if I can, and it does help when hubby's on late. Talking of hubby and his work shifts, in that last vlog I did say that something was happening that was going to kind of give hubby and I wouldn't say a better quality of life, but it was going to give us more time together. It was going to give him a better quality of life. It was going to allow us to have a little bit more planning and stuff like that. There was nothing hugely major, but I did want him to actually tell the people he wanted to tell before I announced it to the world, because some of the people he works with do watch my videos, but he did decide he had had enough of his workplace, and he handed in his resignation, and he is now working somewhere else, and I am so excited for him. His previous job, he did like it there. There was one particular staff member that did cause quite a number of issues, which I won't go into because you don't need to know that, but it was getting to be really, really unfair to my husband. When he first started there, they were on proper rotating shifts, a morning, mid, and then a late, and then the cycle would start again. And it got to the point where my husband was basically being put on lates constantly. And if we go back through his rosters, there's sometimes where he's been on late shifts. And when I say late shifts, I mean he starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and finishes at about 11 o'clock at night. So I don't actually get to see him, and he gets home after midnight, and because he doesn't sleep very well, he's up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So he's only getting about 6 hours worth of sleep, and it was really starting to drain on him. But when we look back on his rosters, he was doing like 3 and 4 months worth of late shifts. So we were hardly getting to see each other. He was constantly tired. I was always worried about him driving home on the roads at night time because I knew he wasn't getting enough sleep. There's been other incidences where we've booked holidays and he's been called back halfway through his holidays to go back to work because people are sick or not turned up and all this sort of stuff, and then they whinge at him for not taking his holidays. He had such a massive holiday payout that he basically lost most of his payout to tax. It was just absolutely ridiculous what happened, but it was getting to the point that we'd said, you know, we would like to have at least one day off together. You know, the bosses all get to have a day off with their partners, and we didn't think it was unreasonable for Matt to be able to have a day off with me, considering he was asking for a Tuesday off. Most people in hospitality want Friday, Saturday, Sundays off so they can go out partying, and hubby has always said, I'm happy to work on the weekends, I would just like to have a Tuesday off so we can spend time together. And it just very, very rarely happened. It would happen for a couple of weeks and then all of a sudden we wouldn't have any time together at all. And then it got to the point of being absolutely ridiculous that his roster was getting put out at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night for a Monday week starting, and it used to be for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden the rosters were coming out for 1 week. So we couldn't even make plans with people. We couldn't say, yeah, we can do dinner with you on that night, or, you know, Matt's on this shift so it's just me. We never were able to plan anything, and because both my parents and Matt's mum have very busy lives, we practically have to book into their diaries to go and see them. So finding out on a Sunday that he has got a Tuesday off, trying to then get in contact with his mum to see if we can go up to see her. She's usually got that day already planned out with all the social things. She goes off and does jazz days and gardening clubs and all that sort of stuff. So it really has affected our lives a lot. And it's got to the point where he's just said he's had enough. And also, although they pay just above the award wages, it's not as much as what other hotels are paying their staff for the same role but doing less work. He's a guest service agent, so he works on the check-in desks of a hotel, so checking people in, out, and doing all those sort of basics. But he was also having to do a lot of other things. He even had to do night audit shifts as well, which is just a nightmare for him because of his sleep patterns. Whereas this new job that he's got, he still has rotating shifts, early, mids and lates, but the latest he will ever work is 8 o'clock at night. So his late shifts now are 12 till 8. So he comes home at a decent hour, and he started 2 weeks ago, and we've been able to spend so much more time together, which is so nice. We can go and do things, you know, have dinner with each other at night time. There was months where I was eating alone every night. So, and I used to love to cook, and I don't get to do much cooking because of the shifts he was doing. So it's been so good these last 2 weeks, but he is on a late shift tonight, so he'll be home about 9 o'clock. I'll get to see him again before we go to bed. But yeah, that was the sort of news that I was hinting at last time, and it's just going to be so good for us. It really, really is. So no more whinging that my husband's always on a late, because he might be, but he'll be home at a decent hour. But enough of that yakking. I am going to go home. While he is on his late, I will be editing some of this video, and when he comes home we'll then be able to sit and have a bit of a chat about our days, and then tomorrow I will be back in and we'll see what we actually get done. So I'm heading off. It is Friday morning. It's about 45 minutes before the shop is due to open. I'm in early because we dropped hubby's car off to get it serviced. There's something wrong with the handbrake, so we've had to book that in. So we went and dropped the car off this morning at the service centre. So we both went down, one in each car, and then hubby has brought me into work. So I'm about 45 minutes early, which is okay, because what I've decided to do, because next door isn't yet open, I have decided to take that opportunity of how quiet it is to make the first of my Christmas soaps, so I can film it as well. Filming of soaps has become a little bit more difficult because I really can only now do it on weekends, because they come in next door usually around the same time that I arrive. They've got pressure cookers going. She turns her music up, which isn't bad because it's not bad music, but she does turn the music up, so I can't do any filming. The pressure cookers are going. Let me grab another bucket. There's also a lot of laughing and carrying on, which is so nice to actually hear those sounds, but it does mean I have to be a little bit more careful with when I'm doing my videos. Generally she's not there on a Saturday and Sunday, so I don't make soaps on a Sunday because that is one of my more busy days, and plus it's one of my shortest days as well, so it only really leaves Saturday to make soaps and other things, which does make filming a little bit more harder. And I don't really want to be into work early every time just to film videos. But seeing as I'm in early today, I'm going to get on to making the first of the Christmas big bars of soap. So as you know, I've already started the little ginger soaps, but we are also going to have the big soaps available too. So I have just measured out my lye. I've warmed my oils up a little bit. I've got my fragrance. I've got my embeds. I'm going to commandeer the camera and I'm going to go and make this soap. Alright, so I have just finished a bit of a soaping marathon here. I decided, seeing as I'd started making soap, I may as well continue going so that we had the same sort of mess to clean up. I was able to get this one almost finished before the neighbouring shop turned up, and then they got their music on. So I pretty much got most of the filming done on that one. So I have shown how I made, in the main film or the main video, shown how I made these little gnomes and the little presents, and then you'll get to see the making of the soap as well. Now last year I had a bit of a debacle with the Christmas soaps. I was not expecting the level of demand that I got for them, and my Christmas soaps basically sold out within the first week of me releasing them, which has never ever happened to me before. And the Prosperity one I did with 2 little gnomes on it, that actually sold out within days of me releasing it, and I had a lot of people who were quite upset and angry. Some who said they'd been waiting for payday and they just completely missed out on the Christmas soaps. So this year, the way I am tackling it, I'm doing 3 decorative soaps, and I'll be making 2 each of those decorative soaps. And then I have got 2 other soaps which are plain, which I have done. We've got this bluish one here, which is going to be Christmas tree, and then over on this bench over here I have got a cranberry themed one. Now those plainer soaps, there's only going to be 1 bar of each of those because I don't think they'll sell nearly as quick as the others, and I do have a couple of others on the side to do some soap samplers, so there will be plenty of soap. But the idea between having some plain and some decorative ones, recently I have had to put up the price of my decorative soaps, so I'm also having the plain soaps, which will be at my old soap pricing, so that people do get that option to be able to grab themselves the plain soaps if they can't quite stretch to get in one of the decorative ones. But we have made that start, so we've got 1 of the decorative done, we've got 2 of the plain, and I've just done a final batch of my gingers. I'm only going to make 4 batches of them. I thought I made 3 batches last year, and apparently I only made 2, which is probably why they sold out quick. But again, my gingers sold out within 2 weeks, so I have made a double batch this year. I do need to make another one because I'm missing some of the gingerbreads to go on the main decorative soap that I'll be also making as well. So now that I've got all of that done, it's almost lunchtime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up this lovely mess. We are then going to unmold these pumpkin soaps so we can get everything cleaned away, and then I'm going to have some lunch. Believe that I have unmolded 30 of these pumpkins, and the very last one unmolded perfectly, and I don't even know what I did to get that to unmold like that, but I'm not complaining. Gonna get these onto the cure rack, and then I'm gonna have some lunch. So I'm currently making another batch of lip balm, and I wanted to show you the difference between those white trays with my old balms and my new ones. So this is my new one, and you can see I can actually pick these trays up, no problems. If I try picking up those white trays with the lip balms in, they all just fall out. So these are all nice and snug, and you can see that the tops of the tube come right up to the very top. Now that this is actually cool enough, I can pour this lip balm into that tray and just basically flood it. And the advantage to doing it as a flood is that it fills it right up to the very top. You don't end up with divots. It's a nice clean finish, so you don't have to then manhandle them to actually tidy them up and have them presentable. So now this is cool enough, let's get it poured in. So I've had to have a bit of a jiggle on my bench. These stainless steel tabletops, I absolutely love them, but they weren't the best quality, and over the couple of years I've been in here, they've slowly got this like little dip into the middle of them. So if I have anything sitting too far to one side, it doesn't sit nice and level, but I've just pushed that into the middle of the counter. So I'm going to leave it to set up for about half an hour, and then I'll come along with one of the scrapers and I'll scrape all of the set wax off the top and into my my jar, and then I'll finish letting them set up, and whatever I scrape off in here I can melt back down again and pour into some other tubes. So there's no waste with this method, but it does give a much nicer, cleaner finish to the lip balms. That is it for the day. I have just started filming another soap. I'm making some mermaid tails here. Hubby is about to come and pick me up. We dropped his car off for the service this morning, so he's got to come pick me up. Then we're going to go and get his car, and then we're going to go home for the night, and then tomorrow I'll be in. I've got some soaps that I need to wrap up for the advent calendars. You're going to be so sick of these advent calendars by the time I'm done. I now only have one more thing to make to go in there, so really happy. I am well on track for being able to release these in the first week of October, which I am super happy about. Anyhow, I've got to go and clean up this little bit of mess before hubby gets here. I have to go and sweep my floor again. It has been so windy here today. I've had nothing but leaves and all sorts blowing through, so I'm going to go and sweep the floor one last time before I head home, and I will see you for the weekend. Okay, so we are back down and we've already got well started into the day. I began, after opening the shop, putting away the ginger soaps that I made yesterday. They came out of the mold beautifully, so I must remember I can only do 2 pours before I actually have to wash the molds to do it again. I'm now also just unmolding the little ones that will be embeds for the next soap. Remember I said that I was missing 1 out of here. That meant I was actually missing 3 of the embeds to do the soap, and I was almost positive I had extras of these molds, and I thought, well, maybe I just don't. And as I was cleaning up yesterday, I found 2 others, so I made up like 50 grams worth of soap or soaping oils, and I've poured some extra little ones, so now I definitely have more than enough to do the embeds on my soap, plus there'll be a couple of little giveaways to give to any of the kids that come into the shop. And now the added bonus is, now that all the Halloween soaps are done, I've taken all of those molds home, and now that I've got all of the gingerbread soaps done, all those molds are going home. So that's going to give me a little bit more space in here. This time of year is always chaotic for me because I have so many things down here that aren't usually here, and I also bring in special packaging as well. And with making these advent calendars, I've got baskets. I've actually now got 11 out of the 12 products made, so I've got 11 baskets of products just sitting waiting to be packed up, and I have no idea how I'm even going to tackle that side of things, like packing up 50 advent calendars. Where am I going to put them all? But I will work that one out. So I've got all this stuff just sitting around. I've got extra little pots for doing sugar scrubs and that sort of thing. So this time of year is always pretty chaotic down here, always messy. So now I'm kind of at that point where I've been making stuff. I can start taking the stuff I no longer need back home. So all of these specialty molds, they are now all heading back home. We've got gingers done, so I can make that soap this afternoon, hopefully. We'll see how the day goes. It is pretty quiet out there, so I might be able to do that. Now that I've done that, I'm going to get the 2 Christmas soaps that I have not filmed. I'm going to get those cut. I have some products to label, and I've got some soaps over here which need wrapping for the advent calendars. You did see those on the last vlog, so I'm going to get those ones wrapped, and then hopefully in 2 more days the others can come off the rack as well, which gives me a bit more space available there. Let's get cracking on into this day, shall we? It's about 2:15 in the afternoon, so I've got about 45 minutes until I close up the shop. So I've just found something to do where I can actually sit down for a little while, because to be honest, I am completely and utterly exhausted. It's been a really busy day, which has been really good, but I haven't been able to do much filming for a couple of reasons. One, because people were coming in and out, and I didn't have the camera on at the time, and I don't like setting the camera to go when people walk in, because it's kind of like I'm filming you. So yeah, I haven't done a lot of filming. I've also just finished making the very last item for the advent calendar. I've got 5 products that I'm taking home. Yeah, 2 soaps. Yeah, the 2 soaps that I've done. 5 products I'm going to take home with me tonight to do the labeling. I've just been sitting on the couch at night time labeling it up, because there's like 50 items of each thing, so there's a lot of labeling to be doing. So I'm going to take that home with me tonight to do, and then the only things that are left for these calendars are the 2 soaps, which are still on the cure rack, and they get to come off next week. And then I get the mammoth task of actually trying to put them all together and then finding where to store them in between, because last year's were in a box. They were a bit easier for me to store, and I only had 30 of them. This year, because I did actually sell out of those, I am going ahead and making 50 of them, because I'm not doing the melt calendars this year. Honestly, they were perhaps one of my biggest fails in business, and we all have those products that just absolutely fail, but I did these melt calendars, and I think I actually gave away more of them than what I sold, and probably made a loss on them as well. So I decided this year I wasn't going to do the melts. If I'd got the calendars the year that I had bought them, I wouldn't have had that issue, because that year my single melts were still really popular. They've been popular from the markets, but now I find, being in a retail shop, people are much more prepared to pay for bigger items. Let's get it so I'm not so far off the edge of the camera. So the melting custom shots haven't been as popular as the melt packs since moving into the shop. So that just meant that the melt calendar wasn't nearly as popular as what it would have been if I'd still been able to sell them outside. But it is what it is. But I decided not to do it, but do the extra Bath and Body calendars. But it's finding somewhere to store 1,200 boxes once. Well, they're not 1,200 because I got 100 of them made up, so I've got enough for this year and next year. So I've got to find somewhere to store 600 boxes once they're all made up. So I'll work it out. That's a next week job. Talking of a next week job, one of the comments that was left on the last vlog is, because quite often I say this is what I'll be doing next week, and people get a little bit disappointed that they don't get to see what I'm doing the next week. That's where you need to come and follow along with me over on Instagram. I've been a little bit slack at it this week, but usually I share what I'm doing through the stories on Instagram, so you still get to see what I'm actually doing throughout my week. And those stories do flow through into Facebook as well. I must admit I'm more of an Instagram user than a Facebook user. What else? Oh, the other piece of good news that we had this week, and it's kind of like a little bit too good to be true, so I've been holding off saying anything. You guys know I always whinge about making these longer vlogs. I know you guys love them, but I hate them, and it's because of the internet that we've got at home. It is just so painful. Really, really painful. And I know everyone's got their stories about bad internet. We've definitely got ours with when we moved into this house. We had never even heard of this system. If you've not heard me talk about it before, if you have, sorry, I'm going to do it again. We're on this system called Velocity. And when our house was built, and our estate was built about 15 years ago, it was installed with what were meant to be this high-tech cabling for the internet. Now, here in Australia, there was a lot of kerfuffle over getting the NBN put into housing estates and stuff, and what should have happened 15 years ago actually didn't happen, and it was all delayed, and it meant that these state-of-the-art internet lines, by the time the NBN was actually available, they were out of date, and the telephone company that put them in hasn't updated the lines. And there's only a handful of houses that are on it. Where we are the only street in the whole of the suburb. Like, we're on a circuit, and we are the only street in this whole suburb that is on this stupid Velocity stuff, and every other street around us is on the NBN and 5G and whatever other internet you can get. But because of the way that this wiring was put into the housing, we actually can't get any other landline internet into our house other than this Velocity stuff. And there is only one telephone company that services it. Honestly, I don't know how they got away with it, because from everything I know about consumer law, that is having a monopoly, and they have prevented us from being able to go to other businesses. I think their argument is that we could go and get mobile internet instead, but being in a very mountainous sort of area, or it's fairly hilly, I should say, mobile internet is a bit dodgy, so we don't really have that option to go to mobile internet if we want a good quality internet. So we've been stuck with this stupid Velocity thing, and we were told last year that the lines were finally being handed over. They'd been upgraded, finally being handed over, so that other service companies were able to also offer us a service, and that was meant to happen in February of this year. Never happened. And then we were told it was going to be like April, must have been April. Didn't happen. We were then told that it was going to happen in November of this year, and we've started to see other companies saying, yep, we can now offer you internet, but it's not going to be until February next year, because they officially don't get the lines to give to us until February next year. So it's really, really frustrating, and we have actually signed up with another company who have said, we will be able to do internet for you from February of next year. And now all of a sudden, now that we're getting to the pointy end of it, the telephone company that own the telephone lines and really just haven't been that helpful to us at all. In fact, they've dropped our speed and trying to charge us more. You know, I don't know how they've dropped our speed any further. But they've suddenly now just said, oh, by the way, your house now has 5G and you don't even need a telephone line to get it. It's like, well, how can all of a sudden, there's been no landline work or anything in our estate, how do we suddenly get access to 5G when you're just about to sign the lines over? So I think it's a bit of a con that they're just expecting all these poor people who have been on this velocity stuff for ages, giving them no other choice. I think they've suddenly given them this choice that we're all going to go, right, we've had enough of velocity, we'll just go over to this 5G until we can move, and then you just end up staying with them. I think it's really dirty, underhanded stuff that they are playing at, but we have fallen for it. We have decided that we're going to go on to this 5G, and it is actually going to be cheaper and faster than what this other company said they can provide for us. So unfortunately, we are going to cancel that with them, which is exactly what we think the original company was aiming at. So they have won in a way, but we are finally going to get a decent internet service. So I won't be complaining when I do these super long vlogs for you, just to give you an idea. And for some of you, this is just going to go whoosh, because it did go over my head at first until I actually saw more numbers. Our current internet on this ridiculous velocity thing, our download speed isn't too bad. We don't do gaming or anything like that, so the download doesn't bother us. It is to do with how quick you can get things like Netflix to download and stuff like that, and it's not too bad. I don't know what the number is. It's not so bad that it affects us that much, but occasionally if I'm trying to upload a video and one of us is on our phone and someone else is, and we're trying to watch a thing on Netflix, it sometimes something slows down, so you can't do too much. So I don't know what the download speed is, but our upload is the highest we've ever seen. It is 5.6, and the lowest we ever saw it, and it was when I was trying to upload one of your vlogs, and it literally took me, I think it was 15 hours to upload a 2-hour. No, it wasn't 2 hours. It was 1 hour, 50 minutes. It took me that long to upload your video, and we had a look at what the upload speed was, and it was 3.44. Now, for a lot of you, you're just thinking that just means absolutely nothing. We're going over to 5G, and our upload is going to be 44. That is 9 times faster. Like, that is how bad this velocity stuff is. So I am hoping that when we've got the modem coming, so we should get it next week, probably not before I'm ready to upload this, but I am hoping that when we go on to this 5G, instead of actually taking hours to upload your videos, it will probably take less than an hour. Sorry, just had to stop and go and play Mrs. Google out there. I get so many people come into my shop who ask me where the closest toilet is, what happened to the shop next door, and all that sort of stuff. So I have to stop and answer those questions. But yeah, I'm hoping from now on that it's going to be so much quicker to upload the videos. And I mean, even a 20-minute standard video that I upload on here can take anything from 30 to 40 minutes to upload. It's ridiculous. And it really shouldn't be that slow. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it. So hopefully next week we'll get that new modem, and then I will be a little bit more inclined to upload more videos, because I know I've been pretty slack lately, and some of you do wonder where I've actually got to. Some of it is because it has become more difficult to film in the shop with all the noise around during the week, and the weekends are a bit harder for me to film on, and some of it is I get so frustrated with the computer because it's not just uploading it. I use Adobe to do my editing, and because it's all cloud-based, it is just so slow. So I do get frustrated with it, and then I kind of have to walk away and then you guys don't get a video. But hopefully, yes, from now on we are going to get some more video uploads. I won't whinge when the vlogs are too long, and everyone will be happy. Alright, I'm going to continue doing this. I've got about half an hour until I close up. In that time I'm going to make my little tubes for the for this next soap, and then I'm going to head home and hopefully get a bit more rest. I didn't sleep well last night, so I'm going to go home and have a bit of a rest, I think. Oh, and label all those products. But that's still resting while we're watching the telly. Okay, it is Sunday morning. I did come in early with the intention of making a soap this morning, but something has gone wrong with the soap. I don't know what it was, and it's really soft and tacky, and it's been in the mold for about 36 hours, so it should be fine to unmold, but it just doesn't want to come out. So I've kind of just ditched that because the embeds I have managed to get out just don't look very good at all. What I'll end up doing is just putting those ones I've got out onto the cure rack to harden up, and then they'll go into my Soapy Bits box. I do like a box of odds and ends of soap every so often, and people like them for their kids and that sort of thing, so they won't go to waste, but I'm not happy enough to be able to put them on a soap, so I've given up on that for now. I will remake the embeds later on today, but for now what I'm going to do, as soon as I've got the time, I'm going to get this mess cleaned up because it's got really bad in the kitchen here. I've been putting things out here that I don't want customers to see, so like all the advent calendar stuff's out here, but it's now starting to get so built up, it's driving me absolutely insane. So I'm going to take half an hour to actually clean this space up, and then I'll get the shop open and we'll do Sunday. Okay, it is time for me to go and open the door. I have cleaned up as much as I possibly can in here. You can see the floor desperately needs sweeping and mopping. I've got to get all this out. I did find somewhere to go and put all that advent calendar stuff until next week when I'm ready to start packing the boxes. And as you can see, I've hidden my Santa soaps out the back here. I tend to hide things out the back when I know that people are going to ask me to hold them, and it's one of the reasons I very, very rarely show things on my social media until it's ready, because so many people message me going, can you please hold? And I used to hold stuff, but I stopped doing it a couple of years ago after a rather nasty incident. Many people ask you to hold stock and that they'll come into the shop to buy, or they'll come to the markets to pick up or something like that, and then they just never show up and they ignore your messages to see if they still actually want it. It's one of those sort of eyes bigger than the belly sort of syndrome. People see things and they want it until they find out what the price is, or maybe they've just overspent and that sort of stuff. And I get that, I really do get it, but it's very unfair to people in business when you do that, ask them to hold and then just simply ignore them because you've changed your mind. And then what happens is I'm sitting there denying everyone else, saying nope, they've sold out, knowing that I've got half a dozen or so sitting under the counter on hold. I give up waiting for those people to come and get them. I put them out for sale, and then the one year I had someone have an absolute go at me because I'd told them that there was none left, and then all of a sudden I had them out on the counter for sale again. So I just decided from that point onwards that I was no longer going to hold stuff. If people couldn't do the right thing by a small business, I wasn't going to do any more holds. So anything like this where I know that I'm going to get people ask me to put stuff on hold, I just hide them away so people can't see them. You know, I think one of the most frustrating things about being a small business is that people treat small businesses very, very differently to how they treat a big business. And in a way, yes, you do want to be treated a little bit different because you are artisan, you are small batch, you know, your costs are higher and stuff. But you would never dream of going up to one of these big corporate giants, asking them to hold stuff and then never turning up. So I don't know why people think it is okay to do that to small business, and to, you know, you wouldn't walk into Coles, and which is one of our grocery stores, and take the groceries and go, oh, I'll pay you next week. And yet people think they can do that to small business, and you just can't. So these days I am a little bit more strategic with how I do stuff, with where I hide things and when I actually post onto social media, to avoid that whole please hold thing. you know, there's nothing worse than having to say to people, no, I can't do that, because then people think that you're being unreasonable, but you can't say yes to one person and no to another. So I kind of have the same rule across everywhere, and it's very, very difficult to tell people no, but I also need to protect me and my feelings. People often forget there's a person behind the business, and when you're doing this sort of stuff, oh, please, 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 you're actually putting so much pressure on that person behind the business, and you know, you just don't know what else they're going through in that week as well, what else they're having to deal with. So please be kind to people when they do that sort of stuff. Anyhow, I've got to go get these doors open and we're going to do Sunday. I'll see how much filming I can get done, but really I'm just going to be doing a whole heap of cleaning up today. It's just started raining, so I think it's going to be either a quiet day, or we're going to have lots of people coming in here looking for shelter. I have just mixed up some essential oil blends, and now I am emptying the melt tank so that hopefully this afternoon I can make 4 batches of soap before I go home. I have just closed the shop up and I really haven't done much filming, but you can see I have cleaned up. I've even mopped the floor so it's nice and clean in here. My mum came down to visit today and she brought me down this beautiful little posy of pink roses. They are so cute. She said it was a new stall out at the markets. So pretty pleased to got this cleaned up. So I haven't actually been able to clean up out here. Now it was pretty quiet today. I couldn't work out why it was so quiet. When Mum came down, she did tell me that there was a triathlon on. They close off half the roads in the local area. Most of the parking goes to all these people that attend the triathlon, and then no one can actually get out to the market. So that was why it was really quiet up until about 10:30 today. So I did one thing. I said that I don't actually like doing on a Sunday because it's usually too busy. I did make 2 of the Christmas soaps. Now because I'm making 2 each of these, and it meant I was going to have to make 4 soaps when I closed the shop up this afternoon, I decided to make a practice run of each of these soaps while it was quiet this morning. And now that I've actually got the shop all shut up, I am all set to go ahead and make the second one of each of those soaps. Okay, so that is it for another week. I'm sorry there wasn't as much footage today as what there usually is. It honestly was just me going around cleaning up, going backwards and forwards, putting things away, moving stuff around, making those soaps, which you will see full videos in a couple of weeks time of me making the ones I'm going to make in just a moment. Because I was making them while the shop was open, I was watching people coming in and out. I didn't want to have the camera going as well. It was just all too much to do in one go. So, but you will get to see them being made in a couple of weeks time. I'm going to get on to making these ones so that you can see those videos. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me this week and have loved hearing all the exciting news that's happened this week for us as well. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up, any comments down in the space down below. And until next time, I hope you have a great one, and I will see you then. Bye.